What is going on, my petro-powered dudes? I am at the beach. You know me by now. It's my favorite spot. It's beautiful, the weather's just right, and you got nice scenery everywhere. But here's the better scenery. The 2020 Yamaha R6. I've been creating tons of videos for this bike. I think I have 9 by now. The playlist is down in the description. Make sure you go check all of them out. But the latest video that I came out with was my first reaction video to my brand new LeoVince exhaust. Now, if you haven't watched the exhaust installation and all the other videos that has to do with me modding this bike, such as the fender eliminator, make sure you go catch up and watch all those videos, because this video is going to make a lot more sense afterwards. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about my ownership experience thus far. So we're going to be talking about the reliability of this bike. Then we're going to be talking about the performance, as far as power, as far as the suspension, and then after that we're going to be talking about aesthetics. How pleasing is it to look at? How is the quality? How's the fit and finish of this bike? And then we're going to finish everything off with what is my experience thus far, what do I think of this bike after owning it for a little over a month. So anyways, without further ado, let's get going. So I think the first thing we're going to be talking about, which is the obvious thing, is going to be the power. Yeah, because that is something that definitely does not disappoint. As you may notice, I have the check engine light going on at the moment, but I think you already know why. And that's because it needs to get tuned. All that stuff we're going to be talking about today. So for starters, I have not been disappointed one bit with the performance of this bike. Coming from leader class bikes, man, I gotta tell you, this is one hell of a bike. See ya. Oh man. So, as you already know, I got the pipe installed on this baby, and boy, does she sound fantastic. That is going to be a separate review on itself, so make sure to look around for that video coming up pretty soon on the exhaust review. But as far as the bike is concerned, I weighed it. As you already know, the bike weighs 418 pounds. And until 10,000 RPM, when you give it the full beans, it kinda, sorta doesn't really have much, and then after 10,000 RPM, that's when you feel everything. Now in the beginning, when I got this bike, I was riding it in standard mode, which is, funny enough, it's called STD. Oh yeah, downshifts sound amazing. So yeah, I was riding it in standard mode, but as soon as I put it in A mode, which is the fastest one, they should call it F for fast. I don't know why they call it A, but anyways, I put it in A mode, and man, it woke this thing up. Throttle response is pretty sharp. 3 different riding modes. It's got B mode. B mode is good for, like, you know, very, very heavy traffic. You don't want a lot of throttle response, and that's what you use B mode for. Standard mode is good for commuting to work. I hope you don't use this bike to commute to work. It's a lot of bike, and it's not very comfortable. More on that later. But A mode, where all the fun begins, and then you start putting the smiles on without looking at the speedometer, but as soon as you look at it, you're way past triple-digit speeds. And it's been happening to me quite often, my friends. Hey, what am I gonna do? I can't help myself. It's a lot of fun. So, performance-wise, it is up there, man. It's got 121 horsepower. and I believe it does about 102 to 105 at the crank without the exhaust, without a tune, without the weight loss reductions and everything like that. Now once again, just want to reiterate, we're not going to be talking about weight loss reductions or anything like that. The full review of this bike, which I plan to do, we're going to be talking about all that stuff in that video. But if in the meantime, and if you haven't watched the video where I do my first impression of the exhaust, make sure to go watch that one. I talk about the full weight loss reduction on this bike, which was over 18 pounds. And I still have a lot more to go, so more on that later. 105 horsepower to the wheel and 418 pounds wet. This bike still has a lot to go, and I think it's perfect for the street. Anybody who wants more than this is just, I don't know, man. It's a lot of power. And the only thing I don't like about the power is the delivery of it. Like, as soon as you put it into first gear, your throttle is on and off, and I don't like that at all. It's a bit snatchy, and it's not very smooth. The ZX6R, on the other hand, is a very, very smooth throttle response. It's not on and off, it's very gradual, it's very smooth, very linear. This, on the other hand, is not. But I don't think that's really an issue because I'm getting the bike tuned, and with the tune, that'll be taken care of. That's the only gripe I have as far as the power is concerned. It's not lacking, it's just not smooth, and I think it's going to be smoothed out in every single RPM, and it will also increase in power in every single rev range once we put the tune on. So power wise, not disappointed. And as you already know, I come from bikes that are in the leader class. I've ridden everything in between, and I still chose an R6 because I knew what this bike was going to be capable of once I was finished with it. When I'm done with this bike, once I put carbon wheels on, because that's something I'm looking forward to do. The stock wheels, from what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, please let me know if I'm wrong, but I hear that the stock rims, the front and rear, are anywhere between 40 and 50 pounds combined. So if I get carbon fiber rims, that means I should be down at least 30 pounds in weight from the bike. That's 30 pounds of unsprung weight, which is way more than just regular weight. I don't know exactly how to calculate unsprung weight, how much 30 pounds is, but it's still a lot of weight to take off the wheels, and I think the bike is just going to be even more flickable than it already is. Now tell me, who doesn't want a bike that weighs 360 to 380 pounds wet with 112 horsepower to the wheels? Tell me who doesn't want that. When I'm done with this bike, even though it is a 600 class bike, it will feel like a leader bike. So in terms of power, this bike delivers. At the current moment, it's just a bit subdued, and it's not the bike's fault. It's just that there are a lot of emissions and CO2 nonsense and all that other jibber jabber that we've removed in the pipe installation. Once again, the link is up above if you want to check out that video. So that's power. Now let's move on to the handling. So one thing that I did notice about this bike is that it is very, very flickable. The 600 class bikes have the best handling ever, and the Yamaha R6 just delivers in that department. I absolutely love it. I've taken it to Palomar Mountain a few times already, and I'm telling you, my little RC cup bike is so flickable. And I recently took it to Apex Kart Track, which I'll have the video out pretty soon. But yeah, oh, speaking of RC cup bike, my cup bike came back from the dealership and now it's fixed up. So look forward to some trackside videos coming soon with the RC cup bike. Excited to have that thing back. Now as far as the handling is concerned, this is one of the most flickable bikes I've ever seen. So tossable, so nimble, completely throws itself into the corners, and it tracks the turns so well without my input. Now granted, I have tuned the bike twice. The first time I tuned it, it was without modifications, and the second time I tuned it, it was after losing 20 pounds, and it had to get readjusted once again, but not by so much. So the bike is pretty dialed down to my weight, and it handles pretty phenomenal. But here's the caveat though. It does have a bit of speed wobble, and I think the way I'm going to address that is by getting the GPYR stabilizer for the front wheel, which goes right over here. It's something that doesn't require a lot of modification. It's kind of like a bolt-on. If you guys have any experience with the GPYR stabilizer, write down in the comment section. Let me know if you get speed wobble or not, because I experience it. Now, I'm not sure entirely if the speed wobble is because I'm just very heavy with the throttle. You know, I'm coming off of leader bikes. I'm used to giving it the full beans. You know, I ride everything pretty much. So maybe I'm just not intimidated by the power and I'm giving it too much power, too much throttle, and that's why I'm getting the speed wobble. Maybe it's because I'm going through bumpy surfaces and it's causing the front wheel to lift up just a little bit and then unsettle evenly. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. I did address that with the suspension guy whenever I had the bike tuned, and he told me that the suspension is pretty good and it shouldn't affect anything, but maybe you guys have a little bit more information than I do, and maybe you can tell me about your experience if you felt the same thing. But otherwise, the bike handles phenomenal. I got a track day coming up on at the end of November, and I can't wait. So before I do the track day event, I'm gonna send a ECU out to get tuned, and I'm also gonna get the quick up and down shifter from Translogic, so that's gonna be installed. And then I also want to get some crash protection for the bike, because I think that's the most important thing. That's what I should have done on the bike in the first place to begin with, but I kind of wanted to wait it out and make my decision if I wanted the no cut ones or the cut ones. But considering that the fairings and the bike is so pretty, I don't know, it just breaks my heart to cut into these gorgeous fairings. So I think I'm just gonna get the no cut ones. And considering that the top portion of the bike looks black, it shouldn't really take away from the looks of the bike. So we are at the summit, and I think now it's a good segue into talking about the aesthetics of this bike and what I think about it. What a great place this is, and gorgeous views. There we go, it's a good place to park it. Oh man, views on views. Check this place out. Alright, so as far as aesthetics are concerned, I gotta tell you, this bike has got one of those exotic car looks. When you look at this bike, it reminds you of one of those gorgeous McLarens or that Lamborghini style car where it's got like the crazy color scheme, you know, like that orange or purple or yellow or whatever. It's got a very exotic looking color, and I like it. Kind of suits my personality. I like flashy things, and as you can see, I keep it super clean, and that's the way I like all my bikes. And as far as aesthetics are concerned, I would give this a 10 out of 10. Now, the exhaust that I installed on it makes it look so much better, because now it's smaller, now it's more compact, and the carbon on this thing looks fantastic. So 10 out of 10 as far as aesthetics are concerned. It's gorgeous in every single way. And just look at this back, look at the back, look how clean it looks. I removed the foot pegs, and so now the back looks nice and clean with the tail tidy, the new Race Cycles tail tidy. But here is one thing that I have to complain about, and let me know if you agree or disagree. But this tank, you can touch it like that and it'll develop a scratch. I already got two of them. I got one right here. I'm not sure exactly how this happened, and I got small little hairline scratches over here. So other than that, tons of fingerprints go on this as soon as you lean on it. I mean, even though I have this tank protector. You touch it, you lean on it, whatever, it will develop fingerprints. As far as the paint is concerned, it's pretty to look at, but it requires a lot of maintenance, so I often clean it. I just wish it was glossy and not matte, because matte is very, very difficult to take care of. And I've been looking for paint film protection for this bike, and I haven't been able to find it, so that's the only gripe I have with the bike, and it is the tank. Very, very sensitive, very thin paint, and it does scratch very easily. Otherwise, everything else is just fantastic. No issues at all. Alright guys, the time right now is 6:12, and in a few minutes we're gonna have sunset. So let's see if we can make it down to the beach as soon as possible so we can catch the sunset and close off this episode. So we talked about aesthetics, we talked about handling, we talked about speed. Now let's talk about reliability. As far as reliability is concerned, it's pretty reliable. I haven't experienced any issues with this bike. So granted, when you're buying a brand new bike, if you happen to find any issues, you're gonna find them by or before your 1,000 mile marker. Holy macro, look at that red sun. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Alright boys, let's get down there real quick. Alright, I think we're going to be in time to catch that sunset. Boy, it looked pretty from up there. The sun looks red, gorgeous. Question is, where should we watch it from? Look at all the people lined up already. Ooh-wee! Oh no, the sun went down. Ah, we missed it. It just went down. Damn. Alright boys, unfortunately we missed out on the sunset. But regardless, look how beautiful it is. All the happy people are enjoying themselves, just like I am in my gorgeous 2020 Yamaha R6. Alright my friends, I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you can go back and watch the other episodes if you haven't watched them yet, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think so far of this build series, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Take care. Ciao for now.